Today you are going to learn how to recreate this in DaVinci Resolve. Today I will walk you step by step through these techniques that are used here. I will show you the complete process from filming until the final edit. So feel free to use the timestamps below to skip to the topic that you are interested in. But this video is fully packed with knowledge, so I'm 100% sure you're going to learn something new, even if you're an experienced editor. But before we start shooting, here's a little checklist for you. Use a lens with a wide angle so it's easier to keep your subject in the center and introduce less shakiness. I recommend using a gimbal to get smoother camera shots, which will give you a way better result. Shoot in the highest resolution possible, as we'll need to crop later in post. Now this is optional, but you can use a polarizer filter to reduce reflections. I didn't use one, but I recommend using one, especially if you're shooting cars with darker colors, as they almost work like a mirror. So if you choose the location I really like to shoot in the indoor garage, you have consistent lighting throughout the whole video and no sunlight that you have to rely on. And what I really love is that if you have this light on the ceiling, it's creating a really nice reflection on the car itself that's really spicing up the video itself. For the follow movement on the gimbal, I would set it as low as possible to introduce as less camera movement as possible. So when you shoot, I really want that you take yourself time. You don't have to move fast because we do all the speed changes in the editing process. So that means if you walk, just really try to center your object and focus on it, and don't try to run, because this will just introduce shakiness. So to get these really smooth speed ramps, we're going to track them later in our editing software DaVinci Resolve, and therefore we need a point that we can track in the middle of our frame. Therefore, we search ourselves a point at the car itself, like for example the logo, and then we orbit around this point and try to keep this point really in the center of our video. A good tip here is also to not do a crosswalk, because it will introduce really a lot of camera movement that you don't want. I want that you take your gimbal a little bit on the side, focus your framing, and move like this, because then you really walk like a normal person and you just don't introduce this strange up and down movement. Also, if you do your movement, try to make big circles, because you always can cut it in the editing, but it would be a shame if you just move yourself like 3 feet and then you recognize, oh, your shot is actually too short, you want to speed it up in the end and you don't have enough video footage to do it. So better do more than less. And then it's all about finding details of the car you want to show. For example, the lights, the tires, or like this turbo sign here, for example. Just search for the details you really want to show off of the car. And then there's also the 3D roll shot, where we basically move towards the car and set our gimbal in the 3D roll mode, where we can rotate our camera 360 degrees. And at the end, I always set my gimbal to FPV mode as well and do some shots in the FPV mode, because the FPV mode on the gimbal just really looks dynamic if you handle it well. You can create rotations with your gimbal while you're moving towards the car. And also you can create perspectives that are just not possible with the normal mode. So try it out and get creative. But one of the most important steps is to find the correct music for your project. And with the Link Match AI feature from our today's sponsor Audiio, it's just so easy to find high quality music. Because I can paste a link from a song I like from Spotify or YouTube, their search engine will show me music that matches the style of the song. But my favorite feature is that you're able to download every song in Elements, which means you can download each instrument individually, giving you full flexibility in your edit. I'm happy to provide you with a massive discount of 70%, which brings the price down to only $59 for a complete year of high quality music and sound effects if you use the code Walden70. You can find the link with the discount in the description down below. Make sure to check it out. So before we start editing, there's one important step you need to do. It's really important to set up your project frame rate and resolution at the beginning. Especially if you're working in Fusion, you don't want to change any of these values while editing, as this will mess up your entire edit and can introduce weird artifacts. I set my project frame rate to 30 frames per second and my resolution to 4K, but that's only because I know my system can handle it. For those with slower computers, I highly recommend choosing 1080p, which will work totally fine. So let's start with our edit. Let's import our clips into our timeline. I arrange the shots depending on the direction of the camera movement, where I can possibly create a more seamless transition. If you look closely at this part, all the clips move in the same direction. The shots will feel way more connected with each other as they all move in the same direction. This really depends on the shots you took. A tip here. If you want to change the direction of your movement, you can reverse the clip speed of your video so it matches the one of the clip before. Another possible way would be flipping the image, but keep in mind that all the letters will be mirrored, so it isn't ideal for every shot. And now it's all about trying to find matching movement and find clips that you can connect to each other. Of course, if you kept this in mind while shooting, you will have it so much more easier in your edit. I recommend doing your color grading at this point because it's much easier for the workflow, especially since we'll later create some new fusion compositions. This is not a color grading tutorial, which is why I'll skip this part. There are tons of videos about color grading on YouTube that go way more in depth. Including it here would just make this video too long. Before we can speed up our clips, I want to stabilize them. And no, I don't do this with a built-in stabilizer, because there's a way more satisfying method to stabilize clips in DaVinci Resolve. Head over to your clip and open the Fusion page. There, select Media In, hit Shift plus Spacebar and search for the planar tracker. Now, remember when I said you want to keep a point in the middle while shooting? This is the point we are going to use for our locked-on stabilization. So, with our tracker selected, start drawing a circle around your point by clicking and creating points. It's important to close your shape. Now change the tracker to point and the motion type to translation. Before tracking, it's important to tell the program where to start tracking, and we do this by pressing the Set button here. Now track the shot backward using this button and forward using this button here. Make sure your entire shot is tracked. All we have to do now is change the operation mode to steady, and you'll see the stabilization locked onto our point. If we scroll through our clip, we can see that there are some corners showing. To get rid of them, all we have to do is zoom in a bit. Just click on your planar tracker, press Shift plus Spacebar, search for Transform, and then change the size value until the edges aren't visible anymore. So there are two parts how you can achieve speed ramps in DaVinci Resolve. The first one is in the edit page and it's a little bit easier. And the second one is in the fusion page, which is a little bit more difficult, but you have way more control over your speed ramps and you can make them buttery smooth. In general, a good tip is that the part near your cut should be sped up so you can better hide the transition in your fast movement. Now, to do a speed ramp in the edit page, let's go back there and start creating our speed points. Hit Command R to activate the speed change mode, and on the right upper corner we can drag our clip to speed it up a bit. Go to the point where you want your speed change to start and create a speed point by clicking this arrow here and pressing Add Speed Point. Now speed up this part a lot. Okay, the speed is going from slow to fast linearly right now, which means it happens without a ramp. To really speed ramp it, press Shift-C to open the retime curve window. If you zoom in, you can open this arrow to find all the values where you can apply speed ramps. Just activate the graph for your speed points by pressing the retime speed button. To get a better overview of your graph, you can change the size here with these numbers. This doesn't affect your speed, it's just easier for you to see your graph. Here, you can see that our speed change happens immediately. To ramp it, click on your keyframe and ease it with this button showing a curved line. Now you can see we've got these handles there and you can stretch your curve even more. If we play it back, you'll see the speed ramp is way smoother now. But as I said guys, the real smooth speed ramp is created in the Fusion page and this is what I'm going to show you now. Now, very important, go to the very first frame of your clip, hit Shift Spacebar and search for Time Stretcher. You'll see it automatically creates a keyframe, so that's why you want to place it in your first frame. Now go to your last frame and type in the source time for the number of your last keyframe, which is this number here. Perfect. Now, if you open the Spline tab and zoom out with this button, you can see we've got two keyframes to work with. Select the second one, hold Shift and drag it to the left to speed it up. If you select both keyframes and press S on your keyboard, you'll get smooth curves. With these handles, you can finally make your speed ramp as you like and really fine-tune them. Now, if you ask yourself, how can I edit to the beat? Just go back to the edit page. Make sure that no clips are selected, play back your audio and create markers by pressing M on your keyboard. It's important that the markers are applied to your timeline and not to a clip itself. If you go back to the Fusion page, you'll see exactly where your beats are and know where to place your speed points. Let's fine-tune it and have a look. Now that's what I call smooth. There's one more thing I want to show you. To create a boomerang effect like this, we can simply go back into our speed graph, create another keyframe and drag it down. Now select it again and hit S to ease it out. If you play back the video, it loops. As you drag down in your graph, the clip plays backward. You can create as many keyframes as you want and boomerang the hell out of your clip. For the clip that was shot in FPV mode, I didn't have a continuous object that I could track. So I tried to film it as stable as possible and applied all my speed ramps on it. When I was finished, I used the regular built-in stabilization and tried different settings until it looked smooth to me. For the car falling effect, we need to mask out our car. To do this, duplicate your car clip and place it above the original. We will use the clip below as our background, and the clip above will be our cutout version. Create a new Fusion clip, place your playhead over it and open it in the Fusion page. Hit Shift Spacebar and search for the magic mask. And yes, I know the magic mask is a studio feature, but later I'm going to show you how to do the same in the free version. I just want to save some time here, okay? Let's go. Take the plus icon and draw a rough mask on your car. Then take the minus tool and draw around the areas you want to delete. Change the mode to better and track it in both directions. To create the animation, we head back into our edit page. Simply activate the keyframe where you want the car to land, move a bit forward and move the car out of the frame. If we play it back, we already have the effect we wanted. To create a camera shake to get a harder impact, we simply can do this by importing an adjustment clip, which is basically an empty clip where we can drag effects on and it will affect the clips below. Search for the camera shake effect. Keyframe the motion scale, speed scale and PTR speed to your liking and move forward in your timeline and set them to 0 to let the shake appear. Now let's create the spinning logo effect. It's a similar concept to before. Duplicate your clip so we can cut out the clip above and open it in the Fusion page. Now we'll create our mask manually. To do this, select your media, hit Shift Spacebar and search for polygon. First, let's invert our mask to see what we're actually doing here. Now start drawing your shape by clicking and holding down to create rounded points and close the shape. Let's uncheck the invert option again so we have only our logo. Now move forward in your timeline and reposition it manually. A tip here, don't adjust it frame by frame. It's better to go in between your points and adjust it there because it will adjust itself along the way to the next keyframe. This way you create way fewer keyframes. Make sure your mask is clean. Now to rotate it, select your media in 1, hit Shift Spacebar and type in transform. With this node selected, head over to the inspector window and change the angle. But why it's not rotating in place? It's because we need to keyframe the pivot point, which is the center of our rotation. Go to the beginning of your clip, create a keyframe at the pivot point and move it to the middle of your logo. Now same process as before. Check the whole clip and make sure your pivot point is always in the middle by adjusting it. Let's try to rotate it now. Perfect. This is what we want. Create a keyframe, move forward and type in 360 for a complete rotation. If you want to smoothen this animation, open your spline editor again. Make sure to activate the correct keyframes. Select them and hit S on your keyboard to smoothen them. If you want to add motion blur to your video, go into the Fusion page, hit Shift Spacebar, type in optical flow and hit Shift Spacebar again to search for vector motion blur. But keep in mind that those effects are really resource heavy, so your computer will have a really hard time replaying it. So let me show you a different method that's looking a little bit different, but this method is way easier to play back for your computer. In the edit page, search for an adjustment clip and place it above the point where fast movement is happening in your scene. Now you can apply the zoom blur, for example, which gives a really nice blur as well. And to fade it in, just use the handles on the corners inside to control the increase and decrease. Now all these effects are cool, but to really bring them to life, you need to add sound effects. Look at what's happening and search for the correct sound effects. For that, I head over to Audio, go to the Sound Effects panel and type whoosh. I download multiple ones. Since I didn't record audio, I also need the sound of a car, so I'll type in sports car. They've got 300,000 high quality sound effects to choose from. You'll get a massive discount if you use the code Walden70. Click the link in the description below. Now there's another cool effect I want to show you. You can make a line glide around the corner of a car pretty easily, just like I did here. Create a new Fusion composition, hit Shift Spacebar and search for the background. Select the background node and choose the color you want your line to be in the inspector window. Next, select the background, hit Shift Spacebar again and search for polygon. Now draw a line around the corners where you want your line to appear and close your shape. In the inspector, uncheck the solid button and increase the border width. You can also increase the soft edge to get a more glowing effect. Keyframe your polygon shape manually so it follows your subject throughout the whole video. Now decrease the length so you only have a short line. Then keyframe the position value, move forward in your timeline and create another keyframe to animate the line. Ooh, this was a lot to cover, but you are still here. I'm proud of you. Only a few % make it until the end, so comment creator army that I know that you are one of them. I really hope that you learned something new today. Take these new skills, get creative and let's start creating.